Hello YouTube. Right, I've got a nice array of goodies around me here. As I stated in my previous video, this was supposed to be, or I was supposed to do, a September-October pickups vid. I've been doing them through the previous year every 2 months, but that just fell apart and it ended up being now a September to December pickup. So this is everything I've got. I expected it to be far more than it is. There's a good amount, but it's manageable. So I'm going to go through it at a pace, and I'm going to start with the toys, retro toys, which I've been picking more up as well, just to sort of punctuate the games room, or the retro room really, and then work through all the games in chronological order, starting from the Spectrum. I've got Spectrum all the way through, really, for most generations. PlayStation, bit of Dreamcast, PlayStation 2, Xbox, bit of SNES, Wii, 3DS, PS3, PS4, and a little bit of PS5 at the end. So, let's get going. I will start. I did previously, toy-wise this is, get this guy, a Sector. I'm kind of just getting, I've said it before and I'll say it again, I'm not going mad into toy collecting at all. I'm definitely not a completionist, same as my games. I'm just getting the things that I remember having as a kid, or wanted as a kid. More of that later. And just things that, I just think are really cool, really. So I had this figure, a Sector, and I wanted to get this. Is beast that he would ride upon. Now I had this, and I used to scare my sister, sort of rotten with this thing. And obviously he sits on there, and it's a tarantula. But they're quite a cool sort of concept, really, these puppets. But I've got him. I've got this one and this one individually, and got them both together at a very, very good price. So I was well happy with that. All right, you can go there. Does anyone else remember the Sectors or Sectars? Try and set everything up down here. Right, Star Wars figures. I'm only getting the ones that I think look cool. I'm not spending an arm and a leg on them. I'm not bothered about weaponry. I'm not going down that rabbit hole. I mean, the weapons, the accessories for these things tend to be more expensive than the figures themselves sometimes. I mean, it's understandable, because obviously they've been hoovered up over the decades, or down sofas in tips by now, so they're really hard to find, and there's just a ton of really good reproduction out there, so I don't want to be sort of having a headache about getting the authentic weaponry. I'm not bothered by it. So just the figures, and I'm only picking them as and when I see them, just ones that I like. So I've got the Cloud Car Pilot. I went to a local Plymouth retro toy show, and they had a few games there, but it was mostly toys. It's not great, but it was all right. And I got these from there. So I got Cloud Car Pilot. Are you going to stand? All these will probably fall down through the video. Nim Num, Lando's co-pilot, right-hand man, or beast. He's hardly a man, is he? Right, yeah, these are going to fall down, but it is what it is. 2B, B2, something like that. The android in Empire Strikes Back that helps out Luke after he severs his hand somehow. Well, we know how. I think this is an AT-AT pilot. Is it an AT-AT pilot? Yeah, it must be. These are just not going to stand up, are they? Dominoes. One of my favourites that I had as a kid. Did I have Nim Num? Possibly. I never had the rest. Again, I'm not after some of the big players. I like Chewbacca or anything like that. I always thought they looked quite goofy. But yeah, if I see it at a decent price. These were only a couple quid at the toy fair. The Scout Soldier. I forgot his blooming name. The name escapes me. Biker Scout. Oh, he was one of my favourites. Damn. Stay, please. God, this is going to be a nightmare, isn't it? I've got a couple of those little circular stands actually. I'm going to put you on there. One that I always wanted and never had as a kid, boo hoo, it was an hard life, was the TIE Fighter pilot. I can't remember which friend had this, but I used to love this figure. Again, it's probably just because he's all in black, a bit like Snake Eyes from G.I. Joe. Really cool figure, one of my favourites really. I did look into getting the Imperial Gunner, but my god, he goes for like 100, 120 pounds. He must have had a very low release production. And Lobot, I've always had a bit of a soft spot for Lobot, or Lobo, or whatever he's called, from Empire Strikes Back, the cyborg. Cyborg? Yeah. But he was the first one I picked up. Anyway, not going too bonkers with those. Right. Let's do this in a kind of order. At the same toy fair, I used to love my Diecast cars, and I picked this one up. It's a Matchbox original from 1978. And this is just so nostalgic for me, this car. It was in almost like everyone's collection, toy collection, as a kid, bar mine, funny enough, but it's just mint. It's in lovely condition, and it had a really nice box, and I thought it'd just be a nice little piece. It just, whenever I see this, it always takes me back, this little car. That's what it's about, isn't it? Same with the games, the nostalgia, the memories. Right. Where next? Yeah, stick with the toy cars actually. I used to have these as a kid, Tonka, and this is in super condition. These were all sort of indestructible. I had this very same one, the very same colour, and I used to, me and my mate Graham, 2 doors up from me, he had a Tonka as well, and we used to have like Tonka fights with them and drive them into each other, and you know, you might get the odd mark, but they were really indestructible toys. Again, a silly little purchase really. And speaking of silly purchases, there's this one. Now my mate Graham will understand this. This is basically a bubble bath from Avon, but it's shaped as a race car. It's sealed from 1978, 79, this one I think. Yeah, a silly purchase, but hey, I am silly. We all are as collectors, but Graham used to take that, and I used to want him to take it to the beach. I used to love it. And this is, you know, back in the day, we were like really small kids together. I've known Graham since, and I still know him, since we were about 4 years old. Still keep in contact, see him all the time, saw him over Christmas. But that, I used to love his car, and just fill it with water and drive it through the sand at the beach and stuff. Yeah, bit silly, but very nostalgic. Right, a couple more figures that I picked up. He-Man. Not going bonkers with these, but I've said before in a previous episode, I didn't really like the original sculpt of Skeletor nor He-Man, and I've got the new cartoon collection variations, which are basically very accurate to the Filmation classic He-Man cartoon. And these are the figures I wanted as a kid, but He-Man, yeah, he just looked really, really mad in his original sculpt.
You slags!
And Skeletor looked a bit goofy as well, but I love the sort of slight matte finish on these. Right, this is going to be a crazy sort of build up here. Let's put you two over there. I'll try and create some sort of sculpture here. Right, sticking with He-Man, I got this one, and this is a bit of a segue. Me, my friend Graham, I've just spoke about, and my other friend Pete, who I've known probably since he moved into our street at about 7. We all went on a little boys road trip up to NEC in Birmingham toy show, and this was in September. I think it was late September. Anyway, we had a wonderful time, great fun, picked up some goodies. Some of them are here, including this one. I can't remember what this one's called. Roboto, yeah. I just think he was really cool. Again, not bothered about the accessories really. I'm not going to be a complete collector. It's just the figures I like. Except if it's a figure maybe that I really, really love, but there's been no instance of that thus far. GoBots. My mate Andrew used to have this across the road, and for me they were a bit of a poor man's Transformers, and you know, they just looked a bit goofy when they were in robot form, but looking back to some of the Transformers, they don't look too good either in hindsight, but they were really well made, bit like the original G1 Transformers, where lots of metal, die-cast metal was used alongside the plastic in there. And this is Psykill. I think he was the leader, wasn't he? The baddie leader. But yeah, me and my mate Pete got one of these. We bundled them together, got them for a real good deal. And yeah, there was this one store there that was really, really friendly. It had great stuff that we were interested in, and they were really good with like deals. Basically, we bought a few bits. So there's that one. You're gonna stand. Right, mask. Brad Turner. I want to get Condor. His green bike helicopter. I might sit him down, take a rest, take a load off. I can't remember this guy's name. This was a figure I remember finding in my street, just out on the pavement or by some trees where obviously kids we used to play. So someone had obviously left it there. Oh, what's he called? Murdoch? Not Mad Murdoch, that's bloody 18. But anyway, this guy hasn't got his helmet. But I didn't care, because when I found him, he never had his helmet. So yeah, nostalgia again. It's a wonderful and terrible thing. A vehicle I did own. I owned a few masks back in the day. I thought again the toys were fantastic. I didn't really get much into the cartoon, but the toys were really well made. And I think the cartoon was a bit like He-Man, where they made a cartoon to accompany the toy line. And this is Jackhammer, the vehicle, with Cliffjacker. I got this one at the toy fair for a decent price, and this guy was really pleasant. I had a good old banter with him, and he knocked it down like £10 for me. And it was we got the early bird up there. And this was the other thing with the neck toy fair. It was £12, or was it 12 or 15 pounds? I can't remember now. For the early bird, and I think that's quite a lot. But if you are ever going to go up and do it, definitely get it, because it just went bonkers busy in there, and you couldn't move, and you know it smelled of BO and geeks by the time the main gate opened up and everyone come in. But we managed to get all of our wares and clock what we wanted and around all the stores before. But it was, yeah, really, really good, Neck. Something I did miss, I watched another toy channel, forget his name, and he picked one of these books up from the very same event, and I inquired, and the guy managed to post me down one. I didn't see this up there, I would have got it. The muscle figures, I used to love these, and it's got all of them. It's only like a unofficial guide, but he's done a nice little design job here on all the muscle figures, and loads of these I used to have. They used to come in like the and they're so expensive now. I couldn't believe it. Used to get it back in the day, and they were in like some sort of plastic dustbin, I remember, and they were all stuffed in there. Yeah, really cool detail on them, obviously based on a Japanese line. So there's that one. Right, a couple more toys and then we're done. Right, for toys anyway. Then on to the games. I remember these. Another friend called Andrew used to have these, and I used to love them. And I could have sworn these were official Transformer merchandise, but they're clearly not. Just another company jumping in on the Transforming Robot bandwagon. I mean, that's clearly Soundwave. But these walkie-talkies, and they're in, you know, pretty decent condition, boxed. Yeah, another little silly, nostalgic thing. Silly me. And something I always wanted as a kid, I remember this advert coming on. I suppose it was just coming into like the gross out era, so towards the end of the 80s with some of the toys, and this advert come on, and I was like, Mum, I got to get one of these. And I always remember saying, that's horrible. You might be able to guess what it is. It's a Boglin, and this is, I only want this one. This is the one I wanted as a kid. Was it Dwark? Don't really like the other one. Well, don't really like the other ones that much. Plunk was all right, but I don't like Flurp. And you got the little ones, the little Boglins as well. But yeah, this is the one I wanted. Boxed. I got this with one of the little ones for 30, which is really good in itself. And then I sold the other little one for 15. So basically, I got this for 15. I didn't think that was too bad. Box is obviously tatty there, but I'm just going to leave it as is. It's a nice sort of piece. Ah. Down already. Right, you stay there, you go there. Right, kind of near the games now. A gaming soundtrack. Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. But I've got a couple of his other albums which are quite sort of minimal, slightly drum and bassy in places, but with like a nice Southern American twang. Excellent. And this soundtrack, really, really good. Really pleased I found that one. A DVD, but video game related, The King of Kong. I love this. Really, really interesting documentary. And it's kind of a David versus Goliath tale. I won't really spoil anything in it. But it's against, it's basically Billy Mitchell, who was the old school champion of Pac-Man, or sorry, King of Kong, and other games, I believe, against this kind of middle-aged dad, married, you know, father, husband, just a sort of average suburban guy who gets a cab and gets really good at the game, and they're competing with their high scores, although. Yeah, this Billy Mitchell, I don't know about this guy, man. He seems like a bit of a dick. Anyone that has hair like that and a dress style like that, yeah, you got to be a bit weary of them. But you know, who knows? But I didn't like the look of him or the sound of him. But who knows? Right, onto the games. I said in my previous video that I am fine-tuning the collection. A bit like a boxer, really. You acquires all this mass, and then I'm sort of leaning out now and just getting rid of all that fat and just concentrating on the lean meat, if you will, the prime games. Enough of the boxer metaphors. But what I've decided to do is I've kept a lot of I've started with the Master System, funny enough, and I'm going through my games. I played loads of Master System over the Christmas holiday, and just some of them just weren't gelling at all. Even one of the nostalgic games I had, Aztec Adventure, I just couldn't keep hold of it because I just wouldn't play it. It wasn't very good. So for those sort of games that were on the periphery, that were like borderline, I've probably got the collection down from 100% down to like a 60% level, and I'm really happy with that. I can go up there and play those games and know I'm going to have a whale of a time. But for those other games just on the sort of edges, I picked up like an EverDrive cart, 600 games in there, all of them, works like a dream. So that's kind of me in the Master System done. Although there's a couple of booklets I am looking out for, actually, for some of the games that I've decided to keep. So there's those, there's that, there's a thing. So yeah, get in contact with me if you're after any specific Master System games. It might be that I've got a few that. A lot of them have sold. I've moved on via eBay, but get in contact with me. I might have a couple that you might need, and that goes for a Super Nintendo. Drop me a line about Dreamcast, possibly, and N64 as well. But those sort of collections I'm quite happy with at the moment, but yeah, we'll see. Right, Spectrum. I went to that local gaming warehouse, and they have like an open day every blue moon, every 2 Saturdays or something, and yeah, I went in there, checked out their wares. I haven't been going as frequently because their stock hasn't changed that much now. I'm pretty okay with what they've got. I'll definitely go in again the next time they have another open day, because it has been a while now. But I love going through all their racks with all these old microcomputer games and all the dust, dead skin. Yeah, love it. Like filling around in boxes and moving stuff out of the way. That's, you know, the hunt, the thrill of the hunt. But I've got Robocop 2, Complete for Ocean. It's supposed to be a good game. I've never played it. Really love 1 on the Spectrum. It's got his bag, the ocean baggie, and all the gubbins in there. And it's in lovely condition, that. Yeah, it's supposed to be quite good. I got Icicle Works, which was on my list through. I went through the Bitmap Brothers, not the Bitmap Brothers, the Bitmap Books Spectrum book, and a lot of the games in there I was reading up on, and there's a lot in there that I like the sound of. And basically, Icicle Works is a bit of a Boulder Dash clone, and I used to love those sort of games. Still do, but used to love those on the Spectrum. Like Rockfall was always a great time for me. And then this one is a bit notorious. Got a really demonic, evil-looking cover there. Some nasty artwork. It's called Soft and Cuddly, but it's anything but I'm sure I'm playing some gameplay at the top there. It's quite a disturbing game with really good graphics actually for the ZX Spectrum, and just looks weird, dark themed, and quite grotesque. But I got that one for a good price. It does usually go for a bit more. Right, onto the Super Nintendo. There's only one thing that I've picked up, and that was from the Gaming Warehouse on one of their open days. I saw it, I asked them to test it, and they gave it a clean up as well. So I always wanted one of these. I've got a CRT, play some scope games. I've got the 6-game pack there, so I'll give that a blast at some point. But it's a cool looking accessory regardless. Right, where should we go? PlayStation 1. Not going too bonkers for the PlayStation 1. I do need to thin out some of that when I get around to playing more of those games. But it's Grand Theft Auto London. I wanted this version because it's got the original game on the disc as well as the London as an extra. I think there's another version with the Union Jack cover, which is almost like you load the game in, the original vanilla Grand Theft Auto, and then you put that disc in, the London pack as DLC almost, and load that in afterwards. I think I'm right with that anyway, correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, got that one for a good price. Used to like these back in the day. I played loads of them around different people's houses, but yeah, there's that one. Right, Dreamcast next. And Volgar the Viking. I've been keeping my eye open for this on either this platform or I think it's out on PlayStation 4. But yeah, this came up for a really good price. But then when it came through on close inspection, it's a copy. It's got printed. The disc looks quite good, but you can just tell it's got like JPEG images of the Dreamcast text there and the logo plopped onto like a blue background. So I messaged the guy and said, look, there's no way I could tell, and it wasn't mentioned that this was a copy, and he gave me my money back, but at least I've got the game now to play. Does look really good. Bit like a bit Rastani really, playing as a barbarian hack and slash platformer. Looks good. A couple of PS2 games. Where did I get this one? I got this one in the Games Warehouse on one of their little open days, and it's Masters of the Universe. I don't think it's supposed to be great, but it was stupidly cheap, only a few quid, and I really like the artwork on the front there. But this one, Pete Dorr mentioned this one on one of his videos, Sky Odyssey, and he said it's very good, and I have checked out the reviews and it does look interesting, so I'm going to give this one a go. That was only like $4.50 or something like that. Xbox titles, original Xbox exclusive, and Kingdom Under Fire, The Crusaders. I've got the first one, Kingdom Under Fire Heroes, I think it's called. But these are supposed to be two nice games. Def Jam, Fight Night New York. Ideally, I wanted this on the GameCube, but again, it's not a game I've any nostalgia for, so I don't mind picking it up on the Xbox. Again, Xbox games do tend to play better on, play better than PlayStation 2. If I'm going to get a multi-plat, ideally I want it on the GameCube. That was my console of choice at that generation. But if not, Xbox all the way. More on this later. But RoboCop, I don't think it's supposed to be great. But yeah, this came up at a good price. It did go up quite considerably at one point. I think it's when the new game came out, Rogue Nation. Oh, this has got a little tear in it, I've only just realised. But again, got this one for an alright price. I'm not too bothered by it, but I've played the more modern version of Call of Cthulhu. I played the modern version with my wife on PlayStation 4, and we both quite enjoyed it. So yeah, Lovecraft, gothic-y, weird horror. Nintendo Wii Willy Winky. Eddie mentioned this one back along as a decent sort of 3D platformer, puzzler game. The Munchables. Very colourful looking. RPG, action RPG, or just a straightforward JRPG, I cannot remember, but this was on my list of games to get. Fragile Dreams. Sam and Max. I've got the other one, the cheaper one, and I got this one for a ridiculous price. Sam and Max Beyond Time and Space. The first one is just like a seasons game, seasons 1 and 2 or something. But yeah, this one's the more expensive game, but I don't know if this is an official seal. It's been like post-sealed or resealed. Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure all Nintendo games have the red seal along. So yeah, let me know in the comments below if that's a given or they did do this every now and again. Not sure. But either way, it was a great price. This one's been on my list for ages. I did order it once and the guy said he lost it or something and I never actually got it. Sky Crawlers, so an aviation flying game. Maybe some RPG elements in there, I can't remember, but the graphic style's got a slight anime twist to it, and I have seen Sky Crawlers anime, which is, yeah, it's a bit of a slow burn, but worth a watch if you're into your anime. Right, 3DS, only mainly really after the big sort of Nintendo first party games. Now, there's not many I'm after really. Again, my collection was kind of there really. Anything that I do need is really, really expensive or just rare, hard to find, conditions a factor, etc, etc. So yeah, it's going to be slowing right down now, he says, but you know, let's see how I get on for the next pickups for Poochie and Yoshi's Woolly World. Don't mind these games, they tend to be quite easy. That's sort of a nice pick up and play platformer. Oh god, how am I going to get all these in? Shovel Knight, played and completed this on the Wii U. I think this kind of game just belongs on a Nintendo system. This come up at a good price, and yeah, I thought it'd be great to have this to play on the go. And the next time I play it, I'll play it with on the 3DS. Really, really enjoyed Shovel Knight. Really good game. And Kid Icarus. I did have the basic vanilla version of this, but I've always wanted this one. I did own this back in the day, this particular version, which comes with a stand and the AR cards, augmented reality cards, and some other bits and bobs, trinkets. Back in the day when I first owned the 3DS, when it first sort of came out, played a little bit of this, but couldn't get into it. But yeah, it always sort of niggled me, and I do want to give it another go. I know it's got a good kind of following. But the thing with it is the controls. It does take a lot of time to get into the controls. More so when Kid Icarus is on land rather than flying through the air. But I'll give it another go. So I'm really pleased I got that one. All complete, all in lovely condition. Nothing fancy, but some XCOM. I got the other one. What's the other one called? I can't remember. But Enemy Unknown. And Dirt 3. I've got my PlayStation 3 now set up down in our dining room. We've got like a little snug area and a TV connected to that. So I've got the PlayStation 3 down there. It's obviously got the Blu-ray player, so it's good if you want to watch a film in the snug as well. But I just went down sort of arcadey multiplayer games of fighters, a couple of sport games and races. And this is supposed to be a good one. I do like the rally games. This is the game that came the other day, yesterday, day before. I sold off Tomb Raider 1, 2 and 3 on the original PlayStation 1 because I wanted to get this. It's got those original versions on it, and it's also got the remastered versions. I think it's a bit like Halo, the Master Chief Collection, where you can press a button and then it'll just revert between the two different remastered and original versions of the game. But they've tweaked the controls a little bit, but I don't think they've tampered enough to completely change the game. It's like quite an authentic and true to the original remaster, and that I quite like the sound of. But yeah, I don't have a massive nostalgia for the original Tomb Raiders. I was an N64 guy, but I do remember getting into and really enjoying Tomb Raider 2 on my mate Matty's PlayStation, way back when. Right, played this one over Christmas and really enjoyed it. Well, not Christmas, maybe November. Resident Evil 3. Got shot down because it was a very short game and it could have been an add-on to 2, but I took my time with this. I always take my time with survival horror games. I probably play them way more and longer than I need to. But I'm really sort of cautious and precise about what items I pick up, how I dispend of the ammo, things like that. But I had a whale of a time with it. I spent probably about 12 hours on it, 13 hours on it, and for me that was a nice amount. A lot of people can whiz through it in like 6 hours, but again, if you just take your time and you're quite methodical with the approach, you can sort of, I really enjoyed it. Not as good as 2 for me, but it was good. Played the original and completed it back on my mate Tom's PlayStation back in the day. Got this for my wife. She loves her Lego games. She's finished Marvel Superheroes. I jumped in now and again and played a little bit with her, but polished off. She's polished off loads of the Lego games. She's got a couple of platinums for me as well, but this is on her list. Lego Incredibles, great movie as well. How do you pronounce this? It's obviously like a Russian thing going on here. Narrated by Sean Bean. Chlot. Yeah, some sort of horror game. Did remember liking the look of this. It's not supposed to be like a AAA title or anything, but it's got some favourable reviews, and I do enjoy my atmospheric horror games. Alex Kidd used to love the original on the Master System. So many great memories with it, and again, like Tomb Raider, you can press a button, I believe, and go through to the remastered version and vice versa on the fly. Yeah, I had to get this. Game I'm playing through right now as we speak, and it's really good. It's a Metroidvania. Love those kind of games. There's a ton of them out there, and I've still got a few to play through. What I try to do in my games as well, let me know if you're the same. I've gone over this before, but I'll put on a certain genre of game, and then I'd want to mix it up with something quite different, like a different genre. I couldn't play like 2 big RPGs in a row. I just like to sort of, keep things different, whether it's the graphical style or the genre. I always like to mix them up. But Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, I'm probably about a third through, 30% now, and it's really good. Lovely controls, plays really well. Nice little bit of challenge in there, but nothing too silly. Yeah, you know the drill with Metroidvanias. This one I haven't even put on yet. Red Out, basically like your Wipeout kind of racer, and I think a lot of the original Wipeout team did sort of splinter off and make this game. So 5 or 5 games. Can't really comment on it, but it's supposed to be quite good. Gave it a quick bash and gone through the first level or 2, and it plays really well. Really nice game. Jitsu Squad. Lovely little art style. Although I do find some of these kind of games do have that kind of like flash game look to them, and yeah, sometimes it doesn't quite gel with me. But no, this plays like an absolute dream. Thoroughly recommended, and I can't wait to go back to this. Hopefully I'll get my wife to have a blast with me as well. Right, on to PlayStation 5. For the wife, I picked up Jurassic Park, or Jurassic World Evolution 2, which is more of like a sim strategy game, building your park. She really likes the look of that one. And a game I finished just prior to Prince of Persia, Robocop, Rogue City. If you had asked me, and if I did my original plan and did this video way back when, I would have said this was the start of it. I wasn't quite gelling with it. It's definitely not a AAA title, but that doesn't matter. The developers of this have clearly got a love of Robocop, the movies and the lore, etc. That's evident in the game, so hats off to them. They have done a fantastic job. I just found it a little bit repetitive and in places. It's not a very deep game, but at the end it did win me over. It's got some lovely little Easter eggs in there relating to the two films. Peter Weller comes back and voices Robocop. The graphics in this are sort of not hit and miss. They're really good down to good. The landscapes and the environments look fantastic. The water effects and the puddles and things look really good. And in that sense, it looks like a tech engine with minimal sort of characters and NPCs wandering about. I think it add a bit more life and make it more of a immersive world. But then it is a dystopian dump, isn't it, Detroit City? But yeah, I did actually really come to enjoy it. Actually, it did win my heart. So kudos to this game. Love the sounds in this as well. The gun in this, Robocop's gun, is at the Auto 9. The sound it makes, they've obviously ripped all the sound effects, which sound awesome, into the game. Yeah, good. Recommended. Check it out. And for Christmas, and the last thing for the PS5, my wife got me the Backbone, so I did play a little bit of Robocop whilst they were watching rubbishy Christmas movies over Christmas. I had a couple of rums and yeah, played some of this and tried this out. It works really well. Doesn't being unsociable, by the way, but obviously in the evening after the day, I just had a little play on it to, you know, test out my Christmas present, and it works really well. As you would expect. I'm yet to sort of try it out and about. I've only played it in the house, up in bed, and downstairs with my headphones on in the front room from time to time. But yeah, it works well. The only thing is, you can really see it with a game like this. It was made for the big screen. You know, you've got all your HUD around, and when you're looking into a screen that's this size on your phone, you have to really look up close, and there's a lot of text in this game which is small even on the blimmin' big screen down there, let alone on this, so it does sort of break the immersion a little bit, so just be mindful of that, you know, the crap. But yeah, it's a real nice quality piece of kit, really pleased with it. So that is it. Thank you very much, YouTube. Let me know what you think of any of this tat in the comments description below. And yeah, you know, let me know, and I'll be doing the rounds on YouTube to see what people have picked up over Christmas. Let me know what you picked up over Christmas down in the comments below. And yeah, until next time, everyone take care out there, stay safe, and I'll see you again.